Hey guys, nothing important here, and today we're doing a fight. Oh, that sounds horrible. I'm leaving it in. We're doing a we're doing a battle between Oryx, the Taken King, versus Nezarec, the final god of pain. But there's a twist. With me today, we have the meme, the myth, the legend, the giver of the Sunny D. It's Solar.
What's going on, guys?
Yeah. So, we're gonna cover their scaling, their hacks, round 1, which is the in-universe normal fight, and then round 2, which is an equal stats fight that will preface using Paraverse meta.
Their leaders belong to you. The rest await extermination. No. Gather them. I will take them all.
Okay, so with Oryx being a pillar god of the hive, he directly outscales the entire race, and because they view him as their god, he would be infinite 4D. Also, the fact that he's ascendant, an ascendant hive, he has a throne world, which at the very least makes him universal. Then he also outscales Brachion. This being because Brachion was beat by a fire team of 3 people after he had created a high hyperversal Halbert space. And then he also is under the Garden of Salvation boss, the Consecrated Mind, which was beat by 6 people. Then the Sanctified Mind, which is just a higher version of being consecrated, was then a bigger threat to the last city. And we had to be all hands on deck essentially for that fight. But even then, Korea, the Dreaming Mind, is still stronger than the Sanctified Mind because that specific mind corrupted the Vex domain, and the Vex domain is directly compared to the Ascendant Plane, which Oryx is above, so that would essentially make him Outer Versal to Outer Versal Plus. And he has a bunch of hacks. Some of the more notable ones are the fact that he's a causal type 5. Also, his sword Willbreaker can essentially cut you without him having to act himself. He can also command you to die, and you would essentially just die. He has law manipulation as well as objective reality. He also has durability, negation, resistance, and invulnerability. Pretty much all the stuff that you would expect from a hive god. And yeah, even though he's really strong, we'll see how he stacks up against Nezarec.
This prison in between, it will shatter. But I need power. I am pain. I am terror. I am Nezarec.
Alright, covering Nezarec, he's also a mess, let's be honest. With Nezarec, we have at least 3 versions to look at. We have Disciple Nezarec, we have Death Nezarec, and then we have Light Nezarec. If you want to somehow separate him into more than 3 categories of himself, go right ahead, but it's more complicated than it should be. Anyway, with Nezarec, let's start with why he's important. The Witness sent him in to go do the collapse. We don't know if he had a positive interaction with Oryx, but for some reason Chrono was there as well. He took the Veil to the moon, crashed his ship on the moon. Savathun had to go and prep on him, which included the existence of Rolk and the Witness. So this means before Savathun could even lie to the Witness, she had to have a way to kill Nezarec. Meaning that, in terms of power, without even dying, he's already stronger than Rolk is. If you want a different argument, I'll give you a different argument. In Val the Disciple, the fire team of 6 killed the caretaker. Rolk saw him as trash because he's half hive and half scorn. After we killed Rolk, the main character made a glaive. The exotic glaives are at least as powerful, if not more powerful, than Rolk. Using another argument to support it, we had to go up against Callus, and Callus was a threat to the entire last city. To support this, we can use the fact that quite literally everyone on Earth noticed that Callus was on the moon, and we were like, okay, we have to go and kick his teeth in. Well, guess what? We didn't even do that. He sandbagged the entire last city and said, I'll see y'all in Lightfall when I come back even more powerful than before and without being nerfed. So, that's what he did. What ended up happening was Filler Arc Season of Plunder. Rasputin does his thing, but we'll make a video on Rasputin some other day. Eventually, Lightfall happens. We go in, we kill a bunch of no-name Cabal. We kick Callus's teeth in. Oh crap, Nezarac's been revived. So, Rune of Nightmares happens, and he calls every Cabal garbage to him. Like, including Disciple Callus, which is very crazy. Because Callus outscales Rolk, and Rolk does his madness with the whole hive nonsense, and blah 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 blah. A 20-minute rant for another day. Anyway, with Nezarec, he got really powerful because we were feeding him energy from both light and dark. We had to go and charge up a seed of the Tree of Silver Wings that went and fully grown into a tree. That went into Nezarec, which essentially jump-started his revival and gave him a massive power increase because he said so. Refer to my Nezarec video if you want more information. Anyway, depending on how you interpret the raid, either A, Nezarec just outscales the fire team because we had to weaken him and then kill him and that's it, or the more nuanced debate with Nezarec being he was noticed by the Gardener and the Winnower and thusly rejected, which puts him even higher than we thought he would have ever been within the scaling chain. Now, let's go ahead and cover his hacks, because he has a lot of hacks. So, he has a lot of similar abilities to Oryx because they're both beings of darkness. They both have the intangibility, the acausality. They have different forms of immortality, but they're both immortal. However, with Nezarec, he's a chaos god. This means that if he has enough fear built up, if you eradicate him on every level of existence, he'll just make a new body on the spot. There you go. Nothing matters at that point. And he got more powerful from reviving that way also. So, he has immortality out the wazoo. He has a scythe called Night Terror. Night Terror contains an infinite amount of nightmares, meaning that he's essentially reaping you via infinite nightmares. We know he can grab you by the throat and drain your power in a similar way Oryx can with Grasp of the King. And we also know he has a limited form of flight, just like Oryx has flight. Now, I call it limited because he got a couple wings, and it looks like that they were light wings, but we haven't seen him use them that much because he was just revived before we killed him again. So, Nezarec is really busted. I could cover a lot more stuff, but we don't want to ramble longer than we should. So, let's go ahead and talk about round 1. For round 1, I'm sorry to say this, it's brutal. It's real brutal.
Yeah.
Nezarec one-taps. I'm sorry.
For sure. Yeah.
Like, we got Roll, like, outscaling all the hive. We got Cal's pulling up and being the GOAT. And then we have him going into Lightfall, giving everything else below him at that point the FU finger. And then we have Nezarec just calling all the Cabal garbage. Like, it doesn't get any more direct than that. Like, Oryx is actually just this man's ass puppet. it's bad. it's bad.
Yeah. I'd say like on like more times than not, Nezarec would probably win just because I remember we were talking about it before. Like, he doesn't have a way to really kill Nezarec, or I mean, it would literally just come down to who could understand who first, um, or Nezarec trying to figure out a way to absorb Oryx. So more times than not, I'd give it to Nezarec for sure.
We'll talk about hacks momentarily, but effectively, with Nezarec, he just bops. He bops.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now let's go ahead and talk about round 2, because that one is kind of interesting. So
Yeah.
okay. Let's get the elephant out of the way for round 2. We don't know if Nezarec can manipulate the Tree of Silver Wings. We know he got a lot of energy from it from reviving, but we don't know if he can directly use it. We know that Nezarec has a purifying one-shot attack. We don't know if that'll kill Oryx in one attack, though. Although it is a really powerful attack and probably one of his only ways to just outright deal with Oryx, he'd have to like spam his blast. He has to charge it up, so we don't know how many times he'd be able to use it in XYZ time frame. So I'll leave that up to you. With his darkness blast, I think Oryx may or may not just absorb it. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I honestly, like, here's the thing. Oryx is death. We know he's death. He's death, he's truth, he's curiosity, he's understanding. He's 4 concepts, and it only takes one of those to absorb a darkness blast. So he has a lot going for him too. Don't get me wrong. The problem is that Solar and I had a conversation about this, and like you said earlier, we don't know if they can kill the other. We truly do not know if they can. Like, in an equal stats fight, we don't know who kills who first.
Yeah. It could end up just being like a total stalemate.
The worst thing that happens is either A, we somehow argue Oryx with Giant State could somehow kill Nezarec in like one go, with like one attack, but that's really hard to prove. And then the whole Light Blast with Nezarec, that's also really hard to prove because he doesn't just use it, oh, it didn't work, I'll just do it again. Like you know, snapping over and over, he can't do it like that. He has to charge that blast before he can use it.
Yeah.
So, and that's another thing too. Like, would Oryx be able to regenerate in time before the next blast? How much damage would that blast do to him? Would it do the same thing as the bomb logic did in King's Fall? That's a can of worms, you know, not gonna lie. But effectively, we'll look at it like this. If Willbreaker and Night Terror were to continually clash against the other, over time Willbreaker will break, ironically. Yeah. Night Terror does outscale Nezarec, so we can use that to outscale Willbreaker. However, Oryx does not need to pull out Willbreaker to cut you. So, while it is true that it can be broken, we don't know if Nezarec would break it from the start either.
But I think that's the thing too. It's like, even if Willbreaker can hurt Nezarec, I think he just, you know, since he has high godly regeneration, like, he would just kind of tank that and then just keep trying to charge up his Light Blast. But then again, on Oryx's side, I would kind of assume that as the battle goes on for longer, since his thing is kind of like understanding, like the more he understands how those attacks work, then he would probably try to figure out a way, or if not actually end up figuring out a way to deal a lot of damage to Nezarec. But that fight would have to go on for like a while though.
Yeah, exactly. Like, here's the thing. It's a really messy fight in round 2. In round 2, we're giving Oryx his Thorn World physics with like revival after revival, but we're also giving Nezarec the same with his Fear Apex. So the worst thing that happens is that they murder each other over and over and over and then adapt. And then at some point, either Nezarec will land a killing blow with his Purifying Blast, or Oryx finds a way to counter Nezarec using Curiosity and Understanding.
I feel like it would be kind of like on the same level as when Oryx, Zebra Wrath, and Savathun were kind of battling for thousands of years with each other.
The problem with all those Hive Gods is that they were just as dangerous as the other. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
like you know, like sure, like here's the thing, just straight up, if in the Taken King, if Oryx won, he would have become a disciple right after that, and this very conversation we're having right now may or may not just be straight up different.
Right.
The problem is that Nezarec feeds from pain, terror, and chaos. So inflicting that on the Nezarec would in turn empower him. The sword logic also empowers Oryx. He's curiosity and understanding. If you adapt to him, that empowers him also. So on and so forth. You cannot use power growth as an argument. It's not. It doesn't work. So I'm gonna call this one extreme diff for either side. Whoever
Yeah.
wins.
Yeah.
Whoever you think wins, it's high to extreme diff.
I could say like more often than not, Nezarec would take it, but like you said, yeah, the extreme diff, because it's like it really could go either way. But like I said before, if the battle goes on for like too long, I don't want to say for like a couple years, right? If they because they have the stamina to do that.
Yeah, it's just however long they fight for. Oryx may or may not find a way to counter Nezarec unconventionally.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I mean, that said, that's all Solar and I really have to say. If y'all want to talk about the fight, you know, please come in the Discord. That's the Destiny Discord for everyone. I like communication, and all that is awesome. You know, go sub to Solar. He's the G, new kid to the block in the power scaling world, but believe me, he knows as much as I do. So, you can trust the man. So, like, that's it. My name is Nothing Important here. Outro done. Go ahead and say your piece.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. If you decide to come over to the channel, I'll welcome you with open arms.
Yeah. Go sub to Solar. He's the G. If he uploads this to his channel, right? Whatever.
Do the same to Cola. You know. Go sub to his channel for sure. I'll put his Discord and the link to his channel in the description.
If you don't, I'll replace all your Coca-Cola with Dr. Pepper.
Word. W drink.
Yeah, later fellas.
Later.